So welcome back. This is version 2, part 2 of the Bookmark Manager Challenge. So far I've done kind of steps 1 to 10, a little bit of 11. I'm going to do a couple cleanup things that I probably missed out, and then just keep working. Cool. Where are we? I think I have about 45 minutes. Let's see how far we get in 45 minutes. Okay, so where are we? We have an app folder. We've got a model for bookmarks at the moment. Queries database and gets everything out from the bookmarks table. And we have a create method. And then we can initialize new objects. We have the views for our bookmarks that has a form that allows us to create a bookmark, and then we display all of the bookmarks. We have a controller, and that shows the bookmarks index page, and we have a request handler for the post route to bookmarks. That's kind of where we're at. Let's run the test just to remember where we're at. Creating bookmarks, can add a bookmark to the page, bring bookmarks from the page, bookmark all, returns to array bookmarks, create, returns to bookmark that is persisted. Okay. Let's have a look at this step here. What it is asking us to do: update and test and database. We have to add a title. Updating, create a new bookmark, and update the views to show. Okay, so let's start with a feature test. And we're updating our feature test and show titles instead of URLs. So in my feature spec, let's cancel this again. We're going to be updating probably both because we need to add the title, right? So let's start with the view first. So we're going to have to add, before we have to add a bookmark to create a URL and a title. And let's change this to actually be a link. For example, www.bbc. Oh, that's not bbc.co.uk. And this is the BBC. To have a link, I guess we can do something like BBC, and then I can't remember actually how it works, so let's have a double check. Have link capybara. I just want the actual capybara, please. Define link. No, I just want an assertion, please. Have link. Oh, here we are. To have link. Just the title, like the content, or also with the href. All right. And so like that, I think. So before we hit the page, we create a bookmark that has a URL and a title. We visit the page and we expect that to have a link on the page. Fair enough. So if I'm doing this feature spec, let's run it and go view. It will fail. Unknown keyword title. Cool. So it means I have to update my create method. So go to my unit test, bookmark spec, and update this. So first of all, we want to do update title. Here it doesn't actually have to be clicked on, so it doesn't really matter what it is. Title, test, fine. Then we can retrieve all of them. And did I really? Hold on, I'm looking at this. Why did I do that? Was it just going too quickly the last time I did this? Why am I inserting into the bookmarks? This is a unit test. That's why. I thought this was the actual code for the all method. I was like, what's going on? So in order to test the all methods, it's about my setup, and I have to insert into it first. Cool, this is reading legacy code, huh? Okay, so in my create unit method, I am executing the create method. That's what I want to test. It's going to have a URL and a title, and then I retrieve all the information out from it. And I expect the first one to have a URL of this, and then let's do one more. Expect first dot title to equal test. I'm okay with having multiple expectations at the moment. I might refactor this later. Let's run this test. Bundle exec bar spec unit bookmark spec. Oh, not just that one. I wanted to run. It's going to write error message, but I just want to run that test specifically. Cool. Word did it. And then keyword title. Cool. So now I've got my unit test. I can now go back here and update my title. And how you update the database, I'll need to do that in a second. Create title, bookmark manager in the right environment. I insert into bookmarks URL and title. And here I get the values, which is comma separated with quotes and interpolated with title. Any errors like catch, close connection, fine. So I should now get a PG error. There is no error, it just returns the object. Undefined. Oh no, there is one here. Look at that. That's what I was expecting. This is printed from PG error catching right here. Because I don't have a title. Okay, so now I need to add a title. Now, currently, I don't have any way to track any changes to my table, so I probably should do that. So let's create a folder called DB and also a migrations folder. A migration is like a database schema migration is going to just track changes. So let's do short timestamp. It's not timestamp, let's just use numbers. I'm not going to do that many, so let's just call 01. And let's go, what's the name of this? This is like the create bookmarks table. And is it going to be SQL? Is it just going to be Ruby file? Let's use Ruby because then we can run through it. Ooh. Interesting. Yeah, let's create it as a Ruby file. And what was the okay, if I'm creating a Ruby file, I actually want to be able to run it at some point. So I want to be able to connect to my database. So require PG if I'm using the PG gem. And then how have I been connecting to it? Here. Let's grab this whole block. Connect to the right environment that I'm in. I guess I'll have to pass it on the command line when I do it. Connection, and then we do here. This is what we want to do. So I guess the first create bookmarks table is create table bookmarks. Where it has something like ID serial primary key and first thing that we had was URL as a variable character with length 60. That was the first one that we did, right? How can I check? Guess I can run it. Well, let me Google it first. Create table, bookmark, and then ID. Yeah, I feel like that's what I did, right? ID, serial primary key, comma. Yeah, I'm going to assume this works. I'll test out at a different point in time. Okay, that's the first one I did. So I could just run this file, create table, bookmarks. I also want to add a condition that says post SQL if table not exists. So I don't want to. Is it really that complicated? Create table. Maybe if not exists. Should we try this out? I feel like I want to try this out. We're going on a little digression at the moment. So, in order to test this out, it shouldn't work if there's already a bookmarks table. So I'll do it with my test data, table, because that should always be empty. So I'm using Ruby to run my files. I go into my DB folder, migrations, and then 01. And I pass it rack env test. I'll cut to my test database, and this shouldn't run because the table already exists. Am I passing it correctly? Can I actually pass rackenv equals test like that? Let's assume I can't for the moment. I'll have a think about that in a second. So you should make sure we're in our test environment. No, I don't really all. Okay, for the moment, fine. I'll figure out a more dynamic way of doing this. Cool, notice relation bookmarks already exists, skip it, nice. And if I drop the table, drop the connect to demo, good, thank goodness for autocomplete, connect, and then go drop table bookmarks. Cool, so then I exit out of here, and if I run that again, it should now, it doesn't give me any which means it hasn't done anything, and it closes. So it looks like it's actually worked. If it does, let's just say puts table created. notice, it will always interesting. So it's a notice. I guess let's leave it at the moment because it won't. I guess it prints it out regardless. Interesting. Let's leave it for the moment then. It looks like I have it all set up working fine. So the whole point of this, how do I make sure that my rackenv key is set as I want it to? Because I'll be running this. I guess I could wrap them in a method call. Okay, for the moment, not going to worry about it. I'll have to change it manually. So the second one is going to be a create bookmarks table. Is going to be add column. What's the column I'm adding? Title. Let's take it all. This is really frustrating me, but let's leave it for the moment. I need to add column, so let's have a look. Add column Postgres. Alter table bookmarks add column with a data type. Okay. Alter table bookmarks add column title. Do we have any specification on title? No, let's do the same thing then. Bookmark 60. Is that how I need to do it? Column, yeah, fine. Okay, so let's run that and hold on, I can't bother to always specify this. So this, if we can grab the command line arguments, let's just have a look, because I can always run it one, because this won't actually matter. And let's do rackenv equals test, for example. That's in the wrong one. Okay, so I can just interesting. We get rid of this, and then it's just a string. So split on the equals. That will give me an array rackenv and test, and I just get the a second thing there. So if I get the item in its place, I get this part here, whether it's test or development, and make sure that this is set appropriately. Okay, so let's add a little bit of safety here. If let's do it after this. If the environment, let's say the only test or development are appropriate here, includes include environment else and puts, let's just raise no environment specified. Okay, very simple parsing here. I'm essentially saying I need to make sure I pass it in this format here, and I can run it in whichever environment I want. I'm not quite sure that's the right thing to do, but let's have a look. So a bit of logging just to double check. I can just copy this format and then maybe wrap it in a method at some point. Arg v split RV on the first item. Cool. Okay, my first log here is logging this environment, so I pass this correctly, get the last part out of it. If I do it again with development, yeah, and if I don't pass it at all, it fails because here, so it would only work if I did no environment specified. That's my runtime error. And I don't do anything else, which is what I wanted to do. So far so good, can get rid of those logs. And if I don't specify this is not what I want to spend my time doing this morning. Oh, let's go for it. Raise. This is so messy, but fine. No environment. I guess this would be really like wrong environment specified, no environment specified if arg v empty. If wrong environment specified, yes, And if I leave it blank, undefined method split still clearly. So if I move that above, no environment specified. Cool. All right, I'm happy enough with this. I'm going to leave it like that. It's quite messy, but it means I don't have to worry about worrying which environment I'm in. So let's add this to the top here. And let's run my second migration. Add column title, and I want to run it in my test and my development. Okay, so I should now look at, for example, PSQL, connect to demo, Bookmark Manager development, and if we select everything from bookmarks, I have a title. In the same way, if I connect to demo, my test database, and get everything from bookmarks, that also has a title now. Cool. And I can quickly run migrations on different environments, both databases. And the whole point of this essentially is just to make sure both databases are as much in sync as possible. They should be almost exactly the same, apart from the data that they hold. And I want to have a quick way to remember the history of my database, storing all the changes as files here. Okay, there'll be a bunch that we could do to clean this up, but I'm not going to worry about it for the moment. So you can see the only thing that's changing between these is the SQL statement, which is what we should be doing. Everything else is just making sure it's working appropriately. Okay, so if we're now back to here, I should be able to run my feature test to remind myself how far away that I got. So bundle exec rspec and feature, we're doing create, aren't we? We're doing view. Were we doing view? I think we're doing view. Let's do view first. Failure, error to expect the page, but there were no matches. Line 8 from my feature spec, line 8, visit bookmarks. So this is now working. And I go to the bookmarks page, and let's have a look at what's on my view. So let's go to my app, views, bookmarks, index. Cool, bookmarks of each. Let's have a look at, rather than using a paragraph, yes, let's use an anchor link. The content is the title, and the href is going to be embedded Ruby. And here we're going to do something like bookmark dot URL. Undefined method title for bookmark. So let's go back to my spec. Do I have it? Yeah, title, fine. So in my model, I need attribute reader title. Title. And title is a title. I'm using the two values, or I guess if I bring them back out, I also need ID row and title row title. Cool. Let's see where I am with all my tests. Missing keyword title in my image test, creating bookmarks. Let's run that just by itself. Spec features, creating a bookmark spec. And the failure comes from line 18 of my model. Line 18 is right here. Missing keyword. Okay, at some point I'm asking in my controller from line 11. Okay, title, params. This is coming across how? Oh, it's not. So I'll get there in a second. Input here, input text, title, bookmark title. So it's coming across as bookmark title, so I grab that, go to my controller. Okay. Creating bookmarks can add a bookmark on the page. Expect page of content, www.test.com. Could find in nothing. Create bookmark, line 8. Okay, because I'm not filling in. So fill in bookmark title with test. And let's have the same thing that we had before as a link with test as the content and the key value pair of href. And that was that. Cool. So we should have a passing test now. Having test-driven an approach to adding a column to our bookmarks table, and I demonstrated also adding a folder to store the changes to our database schema, which are called schema migrations, that we can allow run whenever we want to. Let's double check the instructions. Where are we? Update to have a title, update creating a bookmark, yes, update to show bookmark titles and URL. Clicking a link, it should open the URL of the bookmark. Cool. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Nope, next. 12. Deleting bookmarks. What do we have to do? Complete the delete. Okay, complete the delete bookmarks requirement. You want to add functionality to delete bookmarks, implement deleting bookmarks. Yeah, okay, cool. Is that it? Great. Okay, feature test. Delete bookmarks spec RB. Let's grab this, whack it here, create deleting bookmarks. Can see I guess delete button and delete it. Delete the bookmark. Okay, so I guess I'm specifying the button. I don't really need to specify button. So let's just say deleting bookmarks can delete bookmark. There's a bookmark. We need to create something behind, so our view. Let's grab one of this and go delete. Before we do it, we're going to create a bookmark. Yeah, we don't need to do any of that, but we want to delete a button. So click button, delete. Expect page to not to, like that, to have a link, not to have a link test. Let's add another condition, expect page to have a link. Oh. And click button delete. Okay. Can delete a bookmark. Expect page to have a link test. Feels like that's pretty decent. Medium confidence, I guess, that this is fine. Let's keep going. Let's run it. To have a link test. Yeah, okay, clearly I want to have it as BBC. And this URL. And then I want to make sure that's not here. On delete. Cool, that's what I wanted to happen. So let's make sure that appears on the page. So let's go to my index, and each bookmark, let's put everything in a div. And so there's going to be a link, and there's also going to be a button. A link, another link, form. Let's do a form. So I think we're going to have to hack the post because we want to send it across as delete. That's what I want to do. Okay, so this is going to go to the bookmarks URL, and I want a input field. That's a submit button that has delete. Have I capitalized it? What does my test say? Do you get rid of all this? Capital. I don't need, this is just the submit button. I'm going to send it here, but as a post request at the moment, it'll get confused. So I need to send it to a delete route. So I need to figure out a way to override it. Okay, so Sinatra override, the method override, I think is what it's called. Method override. Enable, disable the post method hack. Okay, get and post requests. Form's going to use, give functionality of a get request or a post request, but we want to send it over as a delete request because we're following RESTful conventions. We're trying to delete a resource, so let's use the delete method. Typically needed in shitty environments. All right. So how do we do it? Essentially, it's a Boolean true or false. When true, it's overridden by the value of the method parameter, including the post body. So we need to find a way to add this parameter. So in here, we're going to add an input field, and we're going to have a hidden input field. The key is method, and the value is delete. I guess capital. And we need to enable method overrides. So I need to set, using set, enable. Set method override to be true, or just use enable. Okay. Enable method override. that comes across hopefully now as a delete request. So let's go back to my form. So I've got the URL and the title, and next to it will be this button that's going to submit to a post request to Bookmarks because it's overridden and changed to a delete request. Cool. And I need to send information over it. I need to send what to delete. So let's add another hidden field and go bookmark ID or delete by ID. And the value here is going to be the bookmark ID. Okay. So we're sending across the ID in the post request. It's going to get overridden to be a delete request. So let's see how far. Let's log it in our control to see how far we've got. Let's just log our params. Let's create delete bookmarks, and that should be a string. And let's just p the params for the moment. I need to. Clearly, I'm not deleting anything, so let's make a assertion on can I get like expect page.status to equal 200 for the moment? Is that a test? Status code. Thanks. How is this passing? I haven't written anything. Is it? I've got all these three things here, so this shouldn't be on the page. It should be a 200 and the current path. What? Puts page.body. What is going on? Hold up. Something I don't understand is happening. And I'm just running this one feature test, deleting bookmarks, and logging the params. Oh, and that's all that we see on the page. Got it. Ah, interesting. Okay, so because I have this returns the params, and that's the only content on the page. As a result, my spec says, yes, it doesn't have this. Yes, it's 200, everything's fine. And it is still bookmarks. Okay. There is a delete button. So I guess we have to... I guess the only way... I guess I just shouldn't really have that there. And is there anything else I can quickly think of right now? I click the button delete. It shouldn't be there. Let's have a look at what's on the bookmarks page. That's page.body. No. I'm not going to think too much about this. Leave it like this for the moment. And I'm frustrated because I really want to have a failing feature test. And I can't quickly think of a way around this at the moment. I can add another bookmark. I don't have to worry about scoping. I don't have to worry about it at the moment. Well, let's do it, because I think that's the better way. I'll struggle through that rather than struggle through this. So let's create two. Let's do like, I don't know, Google, and do google.co.uk. So candidate bookmark, I expect the page to have both the links, and I'm going to delete one of them. Click button, I have to worry about which one to delete. Expect the page not to have BBC, but also still to have this one. And I don't have to worry about that for the moment. Well, actually, let's keep it because it's still fairly useful. So I guess we have to do like a within block here and worry about how to scope. Fine, I don't mind doing this. That will give me a better test. Okay, so within what? On this page, I kind of want this to happen. Let's see. If I am I almost like need to name this. Let's Google it. Capybara within. Okay, I can add IDs, elements and IDs to the divs. Is that going to be an okay way to do this? Like ID is but I have to get the right ID out. Okay. If I do that, I have to know what it is. In which case I have to bookmarks equals bookmark.all, get all the bookmarks, and then bookmark, guess the first one. I'm still hard coding the values here, so I have to think about this in a second. Bookmarks, we get all the bookmarks out, we get the first one. We expect the page to have the link. Okay, so we could just do like first bookmark. title dot title second URL Okay, we get them all out, so we have the first bookmark and second bookmark, and what I want to do is guess within div and go the first bookmark ID and do click button delete and expect page not to have the link of the first bookmark title or this, but still to have, I guess we can copy the whole thing here. I think that's what I want to do. I'm so uncertain this is the right way to do it, but it looks like I just go within element ID. Well, let's see what happens, folks. Failure. Good, we have a failure. Expect page to have link, second bookmark. Try to find link Google, but there were no matches. Cool. So it's supposed to have links. Let's have a look at what's on the bottom here. So it looked like the delete worked. Might have, but let's have a look. Puts page.body. That's clearly not outputting anything. Okay, let's have a look. So this is working. Oh, there are no quotes. I need quotes, don't I? And this also needs, we're missing all the quotation marks. Okay, so I've got my link, got 3738, and I need to get the delete. And am I selecting the right thing? Well, let's go back to the controller and go p params. It looks like I am. Okay. In which case, everything looks like it's as expected. I don't know which one I'm deleting, but I'm deleting the first bookmark, so I expect not to have it, but the second one's still to be there. So if it's not showing up here, it's failing the test because I'm not showing the right stuff. At the moment, I really want to see what's on the page. Second bookmark. So if I do puts page.body, I should see things. Let's get rid of this one. I don't know why I'm not seeing things. Okay, I am. It's just nil. That's why. There's literally nothing. And I guess it's because of this, right? There's nothing here. Right. Early morning coding. So here's where I need to test drive my delete method. So let's go to my unit test and add a describe delete. Removes record from the table. Bookmark.delete ID, and we need to therefore create something first. URL test create ID. I don't know what the ID is, so I could I need a title. At the moment, that's still passing because we're not saying what's required. So that's fine for the moment. Let's use this to insert data into the table, whatever it is. Insert into bookmarks URL, title, test URL, test title. Okay, so there's now here we don't have the ID. So let's retrieve it. First bookmark is equal to bookmarks. Get the first one out, and then we're going to bookmarks.delete with the ID of first bookmark.id. And so we want to assert that. When we do it again, this is now empty. Okay, add data into the table, retrieve all the information to get the first bookmark, then we delete it, we get all the bookmarks again, and we expect that it should be empty. Let's run this test. Undefined method delete. So then let's add def self dot delete ID, and delete from bookmarks where ID equals ID. Cool. Each test, delete bookmark spec. If I go back to my controller, here's where I then say bookmark.delete and then send across ID params ID and then redirect to bookmarks. Expect page not to have link. So it hasn't deleted it. Let's double check p params. There's a syntax error here. This shouldn't be a string, it should be an integer. So let's make sure it's an integer. Okay, so that we know we're getting the right params across. Let's then have a look in the bookmark model. Delete from bookmarks where the ID is kabam. Okay, I think that's fine, but let's double check. P bookmark.all. Mm, 57 and 58, so the delete's not happening. Cool. So bookmark.delete, let's have a look. ID let's have a look. What? Delete from bookmarks where ID is 0. Why is this 0? What's going on, Edward? Oh, duh. So maybe I don't even need that for the moment. Yeah, cool. That was such a random guess. Just use the information, Edward. Exact file spec. Where's this coming from? Delete from. Okay. Gosh, what effort this is. Let's have a look. Difference between truncate and drop table. Yeah, okay. What's going on here? Oh, I see. Interesting. I went to slightly longer route. That's fine. Cool. Next. Update. Okay. Feature test. Update bookmarks spec. RB. I also might want to do, after I've done this, I want to refactor some of the stuff I've done so far, because I hate this. This is becoming just terrible to look at. Let's grab this, whack it into here. We'll create 2 bookmarks with all first, second bookmark, visit bookmarks, expect them both to be there. Then we're going to change the first one, click button, update. Okay, so we're going to be taken to a different form. But we'll then update, click button, update. So let's have a look. Update pages. Don't like doing update pages. Expect page, current path. To have content. That's clearly why that wasn't working either. Before I start, I should probably save this. No, we're going to keep going. Expect page.current path to equal bookmarks edit. And then what I want to happen, I want to fill in, let's say I want to change both, fill in URL, fill in title, with, I don't know, this is the first one, I don't know which one it is, this just doesn't really matter. Let's go, let's change it to Reddit. Vehicle.com and title with Reddit. So changing the first one to be that, expect page not to have a link, expect page to have, okay, I guess we can say not that. But we want to actually store it, so always have the second one. Before we update, I want to first, or just call it updated, okay? That's fine because it'll still store it in memory and hasn't updated yet. But when I redirect, expect page to have link, and then let's say we want this to be real and that to happen. Bit brittle, fine, and we'll still have the second one, and it will still be on this page. Because double check, it's a quite a long test, this one. We create 2 bookmarks. It's not can delete, it's update, can update, updating. Create 2 bookmarks, get them all out. So I have individual bookmarks. I want to set them on the page. Then I want to click on the first one to update it. It will send me to a new page to edit it with a form that I will fill in the new details. Then I want to click buttons. Click button. Let's say edit and then update. Once I hit update, it's going to post the information to my controller, which will then handle it, update it into the database, and then show me the bookmarks page where not to have link. It won't have the original, it should have the new one, and then the second one should be changed. Okay. Cool. Can't find the edit. So let's add a second one. And this is going to be edit this time. No. Put class with bookmark ID, yes, and then we're going to go edit. And then we go and run this test again. And we haven't got this page, so I need to make sure my request is going to bookmarks.edit. I guess this is not the actual form, so I guess I don't actually need a form. Interesting. Okay, so let's do a link just to get the page. And I'm going to link to bookmarks edit. I think that's all I want right now. So it's going to, rather than my feature test, update, rather than click buttons, so it's click link. Need text of that link. Edit. That comes from line 21. Cool. Clicking edit, first bookmark, paragraph, nice. So can't fill anything in. So let's have a look. My controller, I don't have an edit route, so let's add it in. Get bookmarks, edit, do ERB bookmarks, edit, locals, bookmark, okay, where's that going to come from? In my form, let's send it across. So I think I need to be a little bit smart about this. I want bookmark.id. So I need to embed this as a let's put all this in a string. And I want in here to be bookmark.id. Okay, so if I'm using a dynamic URL in my test, I want it to be something like that. Okay. As a result, I need to have ID like this. And then I need to do bookmarks equals bookmark. I need to do a find by. What I want to do is bookmark.find by ID. That's what I want to do. So let's test run this method. And we'll get the edit page out. And the ID has to come from params ID. Okay, so let's go back to my unit test, and I want a, let's just grab one of this. I'm going to do it at the top here because there's not going to be, this is going to be a find by. In terms of bookmark instance by ID, bookmark.find by. I need to create some data first, so let's add this at the top. URL title, test URL, test title, and then I want to go find by, and then ID. I don't know what the ID is though. Fine. For the moment, I'm not going to worry about returning data. Bookmarks.first.id. Cool. Okay, so bookmark expect found bookmark.id to equal bookmark.id URL to equal URL and title to equal title. Okay, so we get all the bookmarks using our all method. We get the first one, and then we do a find by query with the bookmark.id, found bookmark. We expect these things to be the same thing. Bundle exec rspec. Nope. That was weird. Units bookmark, and then line 4. Undefined method ID for nil class. Let's have a look. Cool. So then let us write that method. Hold on 1 second. I charge my headphones. Okay, so test find by bookmarks. All create delete. Let's do a find by now. Def find by ID, and let's do one of these, and set everything in bookmarks where ID is equal to ID. We map and return it, and fine. Self. Wrong number of arguments given, 1 on bookmarks line 4, find by ID. Coming from bookmark spec line 17. Cool. Let's go to bookmark spec line 19. So we have a found bookmark ID, and it doesn't like is this returning the array? Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's returning the array, not just the first one. So we could, if we're mapping, just go dot first. Ugh, stop. Cool. Let's go back to our feature test. Where are we? Line 21 in our update spec. Okay. In our controller, we need to have let's double check this is actually working. Bookmark. I'm not logging anything else. Good. Okay. At some point, update 21, we haven't got here. key params. Oh, get there, we click the link. Just trying to log my way through this. Puts feature test after link click. This is the whole page.body at the moment. What? Click link edit. If I do click link edit, okay, then the thing that gets served is this, which means this is the last thing that happens, but got here in edit read, there's nothing here. Bing! Oh my goodness. Thank you. Crikey. Crikey, Edward. Okay. So this all looked like it's working fine. Boom, boom. But now I actually need to create the views. And now that's exactly what I should be doing. Making sure I log my way through this in edit.erb. I think I just need the form, don't I? I have the bookmark because this is post. I'm trying to really want this thing actually. Well, both. So I want we're going to send across the bookmark ID, and we're going to send across that this is a put request. We don't need that, we just need update and the URL and the title. And then when we send it across, well, let's make sure, because we need to have an error message saying there's no root found for this. Cool, that's what I see on the page, value 110, that's my form. Still can't find the URL field, okay, clearly because I need the bookmark URL. Let's go back to my feature test. Bookmark URL and bookmark title. So we got to line 27 here. Click button update. At the moment, this is not going anywhere, right? So I should be able to see this on the page. Pips page dot body. Get rid of all these logs. So yeah, I need a put root. So in my controller, I need to say put bookmarks do, and here is where I do bookmark.update. Well, really it's going to be on the instance itself, isn't it? So let's do a find by ID, and we're sending across it by, I think, bookmark ID. Let's double check, edit, bookmark ID. In the controller. By params bookmark ID, and that'll be my bookmark. And now I should be able to do something like this: bookmark.update, and then we have the URL and the title with the new information from the params. Params is going to be bookmark URL and params bookmark title. Now, at some point, I want to make it, not that I have to always update both. If I want to just update one, that's fine. But I'm going to keep it super simple for the moment. And then I want to redirect to bookmarks. Find the bookmark, comes to ID. Now we have more information about what to update it to. Then we go update. Undefined method update, so let's now go back to the unit spec. Let's describe I'm going to describe the instance method this time. Update updates a record from the table, connect to it. We're going to do something like update the set. Update bookmarks. Set URL to equal URL. This is a unit test, so I need to not do this at all. This is the insert first, fine, and then I do bookmark dot get the first bookmark out, and then I go first bookmark dot update URL and the title. The URL is new URL, and the title is new title. Then I get all the bookmarks out, and I expect updated bookmark. Let's use the find by. Find by first bookmark.id. Expect did bookmark dot URL to equal new URL, and the same thing for the title. Okay, add in data in the table and get all of them out, get the first bookmark. Update the first bookmark. Find it again in the table by ID. Guess I need to use the right way around, ID. Expect the updated bookmark to be new URL and new title. Exec spec unit bookmark, and then line 71. Undefined method update up here. Def update, and here we have URL and title. And here we're going to, what's an update command? Update Postgres SQL. Update bookmarks from set URL to equal URL and title to equal title. Where ID is equal to ID. No. Yeah. Where I think I already have ID would work, because this is the reader method, and I had the instance scope, I have ID. Let's say new URL, new title, because I want to avoid it confusing with the reader methods. Our ID is current ID. New URL, new title makes sense because I just changed it. Oh, I don't really want to change it. No. So it should be able to pick it up because it'll take preference, right? Line 86 of my unit spec. Spec unit line bookmark spec line 88. So updated new URL is not new URL, it's still the test URL. So go back to my model bookmark here, update, set URL title where ID is equal to ID. Okay, let's log this line. Okay, looks like I need quotes. Set URL equal to new URL. Title equals new title. I don't even know that's not the quotation marks. It's fine. Cool. Okay. Feature test. Back to feature test and redirect. Go back to my controller. Redirect. Kaboom. All right. Well, let's rack it up. Let's have a look at what we've done so far. Localhost. Go to bookmarks. This is the new bookmark to save it. Why aren't, double check, hold on. Bookmarks index. Is it because there's no data in the table? Let's have a look. Hello, Ed. Okay, so it looks like I'll delete this. And if I wanted to edit this one, I go to here and I go, I don't know which way around it is. Let's have a look. Title probably came afterwards, so let's do https bbc www.bbc.co.uk, and this is the BBC update. Cool. And that goes to the edit. Yeah. Cool. So I have a way to create bookmarks, to view them, to edit them, and to delete them. And I'm going to pause there for now. Let's double check before I pause actually where we are here. How they done it. Let's have a look. Updating, create a bookmark, click edit. We go to cool, edit page, fill in the stuff, click on submit, and we should be there. And let's add the button to the bookmarks view. Cool, 2 forms. Why are they doing it in the same one? They're not, what? Oh, because using the form to, you don't need to, what? You don't need a form. You just, okay, fine, whatever. Let's define a route for this. Yeah, okay. And I guess they're using a patch. I use put, it's fine. The first obvious refactor is pushing updated SQL into the model. I don't, yeah, this whole check for type doesn't bother me. We can solve this. Yeah, cool. They're returning a bunch of values. It's probably a better way to do it rather than using the all method, to be honest. Update. They are find, yeah. Cool, there's actually data already there. Yeah. So we could probably add current data. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that for the moment. Cool. What's next? 12, 13, 14, extracting a database setup object. Cool. I'll do that in the next video. Okay, so we've gone through the next few steps. I'm going to pause there because I went off a little bit on a tangent earlier. The next thing I want to do is do build refactoring to clean this up. I won't do too much on this step. I don't think this is that useful. And then I want to go to one-to-many relationships and many-to-many relationships. And then we'll do registration and authentication. Cool. Bye for now.